If you're moving to Central Florida from out of state, this video could save you $50,000, believe me. My name's Pedro, this is my new YouTube channel, and I help families move to the Orlando area from all over the country every single week. And this is what I've learned. The buyers that feel most confident and protected during their move are the ones that actually know how to read documents, also what to look for in those documents, and spot red flags, which means fix it or walk away. Today, I'm going to walk you over the 3 major documents that you should understand and know. And these documents are the ones to actually protect your family, your timeline, and your money. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to read these documents, what you should be searching for, and also what type of things that are going to make you walk away. Stay tuned and let's do this. All right, document number 1, the seller's property disclosure. Here in Florida, you have to understand that sellers are required to disclose known defects and issues with their property. But here's the thing, when you're buying from out of state, you can't just walk the property multiple times, talk to neighbors, or notice things during a casual drive-by. You're relying heavily on what's on paper. You agree? So here's what I'm going to show you are things that you need to look for. First, we got to flip to the section about the roof. Let's go here and show you what this is all about. So here you have number 5, roof. Has the roof been replaced during your ownership? Yes, no. What is the roofing material? Shingle, metal, whatever. Has the roof ever leaked during your ownership? So all these questions are questions you have to really look for to understand if you're going to have extra costs after you move into this home, or if this is a red flag that is going to make you walk away. Second, we need to look at the HVAC section. Here in Central Florida, your AC is not optional. It's life support. You got to ask when it was last serviced, if there have been any major repairs, and how old the system is. If it's over 10 to 12 years, you got to budget for replacement or ask the seller for contribution if you're actually moving to that home. And I've seen out-of-state buyers close on a home in July. The AC dies within 2 weeks, and they're looking at least $7,000 to $2,000 expense to change the whole system. And third, and listen to me, this is huge. Check the section on water intrusion, flooding, moisture issues, everything related to what water can damage your property. Florida has a different relationship with water than most states, right? So we get intense afternoon thunderstorms. We have high water tables in some areas, hurricane season. And if the seller discloses any past flooding, water damage, or even minor moisture issues, you need to investigate this further. That may be a more thorough inspection, a separate mode inspection, whatever, but even reconsidering the property is something that you have to think about. So let's check here the questions. For example, is any portion of the property located in a flood hazard area? Is flood insurance required by the lender? Have there been any past or present drainage or flood problems affecting the property? So keep an eye out for all the answers to these questions, all right? And fourth, look for any disclosure about HOA or CDD issues. If the seller mentions disputes, special assessments, ongoing litigation with the HOA or Community Development District, pause. You're about to inherit a lot of problems, all right? And those red flags mean dig deeper or walk away. Don't fall in love with something that is going to jeopardize your pocket in the near future, all right? So be on the lookout for vague answers like unknown or non-applicable on major systems, multiple repairs to the same system, for example, roof patched 3 times, or, roof is failing. Any mention on foundation issues, sinkholes, structural concern. disclosures of past insurance claims, especially for water damage. You got to be thorough with this. So when you're out of state, this document is your first line of defense. Read every single line. Ask your realtor to help you. And if something feels off or incomplete, ask your realtor to get clarification in writing before you go under contract. Now, document number 2, the home inspection report. Listen, this is non-negotiable. I don't care if the house looks perfect in photos, all right? I don't care if it's brand new construction. I don't care if your cousin's friend said it's fine. If you're buying from out of state, you need a full home inspection from a licensed Florida inspector who knows exactly what to look for in this climate. Now remember that Florida homes face unique challenges. We have termites, we have moisture, we have settling because of our soil composition, we have wind damage from storms that might not be visible to the naked eye, and a good Florida inspector will catch things that an inspector, for example, that are from Colorado or New York or Massachusetts may not even think to check. So what to look for in the report? Start with the summary section. If we go down here, for example, we have a summary. 20 items that need minor repair. You got to negotiate with the seller to understand if they're willing to provide fixture for all these items. In this case, we got 18 professional repair recommended and 5 which is related to safety hazard or immediate action required. So in this case, when I was working with my client here, we actually focused on these 5, and out of these other 38, we selected the ones that were actually crucial for his move. So let's scroll down here, and I wanted to give you a couple of examples, all right? So for example here, garage. The garage door in Florida by law needs to be solid wood, right? And also it needs to close automatically. So if you go here and you open the door cannot close by itself, which is a risk in case we have fire in that property. Also, the electrical system is one of the things that you need to be careful of. Look at this one that I'm going to show you right now. There were a lot of improper electrical connections in the attic. This can cause fire. You got to make sure everything is inspected thoroughly and you understand every single item in this. Now, when it comes to home inspection, you got to be on the lookout for those red flags. And some examples are major structural issues, for example, foundation cracks, roof damage, or sagging floors, electrical panel that is outdated or dangerous. Just keep in mind, if you have a piece of paper, Federal Pacific and Zinsco are panels that are out of service. So they're not good for your home. And if you find one of these, walk away. Significant termite damage, infestation, HVAC, roof, water heater, and so on and so forth. And my advice is, don't try to interpret this report alone. Get on a video call with your inspector, have them walk you through the major findings, ask questions. A good inspector will always help you understand what's urgent, what can wait, and what's normal for a Florida home, all right? Now, last but not least, document number 3, HOA. If you're moving to Central Florida, there's a very good chance your next new home will be in a community with a homeowners association or a community development district, or both. And if you're from out of state, this might be completely new territory for you. So let me be clear here. HOA and CDD fees are not suggestions here. They're mandatory. They're legally enforceable, and if you don't pay them, they can put a lien on your home, and your home can even go to foreclosure because of that. So before you fall in love with the house, you need to understand exactly what you're signing up for. So when it comes to HOA, you have to ask when you're negotiating with a buyer or with the construction company, the HOA governing documents. which is this one that I have pulled up here on the screen. This document includes declaration of covenants, conditions, restrictions, bylaws, rules, and regulations. I know it's a boring document, and yes, it's long. And yes, you need to read it. Or at least, I don't know, upload it to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT to at least lay out the sections that is going to affect your daily life. So for example, look at here. I searched for dog, and there is a restriction in this HOA. Any dog whose breed is noted for viciousness or ill temper, in particular pit bull, or any crossbreeds of such breeds. So if you have a pit bull and you fell in love with the property, don't come to this community, all right? Another example, fences. Some people, when they move to a community, they expect privacy. But it's not every single community that is going to give you the privacy you want. And some communities have different types of fence that are allowed across the entire community. So this one, for example, this is allowed white or tin polyvinyl chloride, PVC, or black aluminum. This is actually a good one, a very good one. There are some communities here in Central Florida that do not allow PVC, which means you're always going to see what your neighbor is doing, and your privacy is very little if you're outside. And what you should look for when it comes to HOA and CDD. So start with monthly fees. In Central Florida, HOA fees can range between $50 a month for basic lawn maintenance in a small community, up to $400, $600 a month if it's located in a master plan community with resort style amenities, for example. And CDD fees can add another $100 to $300 a month. So do the math. If your mortgage payment is, for example, $2,500 a month, and your HOA is $300 a month, and your CDD $200, your total housing cost is actually $3,000 a month. And that changes your budget really, really fast. And one of the questions that you should ask and look at the restrictions can be, can you paint your front door? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Can you park your truck in the driveway? This is huge if you have, for example, a branded truck that you work, I don't know, maybe for an HVAC company or a termite company, and you have to work with your big truck. Some HOAs do not allow that truck to be exposed in the driveway. Can you have a fence? What color? What height? Can you rent out your home? And this is huge. If you're investing, for example, and if you want to do short-term rentals, some HOAs do not allow short-term. Some others do not allow long-term, right? Are there any restrictions on boats, RVs, or work vehicles? And now, make sure you check the financial health of the HOA. Do they have at least 50% of their annual budget in reserves? If not, they're underfunded. Are there any special assessments planned or being rumored in that community? How many homeowners are delinquent on their dues? That's actually a huge red flag, and the community might be struggling. So here's the thing. A well-run HOA with reasonable fees can actually protect your property value. But a poorly HOA or surprise special assessments can turn your dream home into a financial nightmare. And when you're moving from out of state, you don't have that luxury of driving through the neighborhood at a different time of the day, see if it's well maintained. You're trusting the documents. So make sure you request them, make sure you read them, and make sure you ask questions. So here's a bonus tip for us to wrap up this video. Get everything in writing. When you're out of state, sometimes you negotiate over the phone, on an email, on a text message. But if something is being promised to you, if there's something related to documentation, make sure it's all written so you don't regret later. If a seller promises you it's going to give you $20,000 in flex cash for you to use in any shape or form, make sure it's written. If a seller is promising you that he or she is going to change the roof to make sure you close the deal in the next 30 days, that should be in written. Just remember, verbal agreements mean nothing if something goes wrong, all right? Keep that in mind, make your due diligence, and let's make sure you love where you live. Listen, I totally understand that moving to Central Florida is a big step in your life. I did it myself. You're uprooting your life, you're changing careers maybe, you are changing the lifestyle of your entire family. I totally get that. And the last thing you want is to realize that you don't like where you live after you make a decision, right? So these three documents that we just spoke about, seller's property disclosure, home inspection report, and HOA documents are extremely important for your well-being and for your family. Now, if you're moving to Central Florida and want an agent that can walk you through the entire process, just feel free to send me a message, and I'm also going to drop below all the links for you to find me. I work with out-of-state buyers all the time, and I'll make sure I give you everything you need so you're confident in making your next move. Thanks for watching this video, and again, my name is Pedro, and I'll see you next time.